So I'm always telling people that making these videos for this channel helps me as much as it helps other people, maybe even more. But this is the most concrete example that has happened. So I shot the LED light painting video a couple weeks ago, and in the process of making that, I ended up making something that I thought was cooler. Some imagery in that video that I liked better than the final long exposure image I made and was showing you to make. So it kind of led me down this path of chasing down how to make this image. In that video, I had recorded myself walking with the LED light to show the process. So to help visualize it, I used this effect in Premiere called Echo. Echo repeats the video over itself with a blend mode, and I had it doing that like 25 times. So I thought that would be a good visualization of the process of moving this light, kind of a bridge between how it looks to the naked eye in real time to the final photo result with the long exposure photo. But that imagery in the video with the effect of all of these crisp strips of light surrounding the car, I loved it so much. But that only exists in the video. If I take a screen grab of it, it's pixelated, it's low resolution. The only actual photo I took is the long exposure photo that we did the tutorial on. And that came out exactly as I intended, but it suddenly seemed way less interesting to me than this other image. So what we're gonna do today is to reverse engineer and recreate that video effect as a high-res photo. Instead of a single long exposure 20-second photo, I decided I needed to take like 30 photos and stack them in Photoshop. I know before I said I would prefer to create in camera, but there wasn't really an option here. There are several modes for time-lapse, but on my Nikon D850, the one I'm using is called interval timer shooting. I have it set to take 36 photos at half-second intervals, and I have to push the button from the menu so I cannot trigger it remotely. Also, I've upgraded the light itself. It's now mounted on a wheeled light stand, and it's attached to the top and bottom, so hopefully it will stay straight and give the look of just a solid beam of light. I have that battery pack mounted to the stand, and the LED plugs into it, so it's all self-contained and can roll, and I'm pretty happy with it for this. I wore a dark long sleeve shirt and black glove to try to minimize me showing up in the shots. To roll this light around, I'll need to be holding my hand right by the light source. So this way there's less chance of illuminating my skin and showing up in the shots. We're gonna do manual focus again once you've got your subject in focus, and we're taking short exposures this time. The car is black, so I'm kind of doing this in hard mode. The idea is, if you remember from the clip I'm trying to recreate, we aren't so much lighting the car as we are showing the shape of the car based on the void it creates, and then the reflections on its surface. So with this dark car, my settings were f2.8, 1/15 shutter, and ISO 1000. Maybe with a lighter car, you could do a lower ISO, but I was worried about the photo being too dark and not having anything to recover, so I kind of erred on the side of caution. Now I tell the camera to shoot 36 photos on interval mode, and I'm rolling this light around. This looks a little more dignified than the previous method, and I'm going completely around the car. We want the light to show up behind the car, but we also want the light to cast reflections on the side of the car that the camera sees. If you walk in front of the car, you won't ruin the shot because it's not one shot, it's 36 shots. So it will ruin a few of them, but even in those, we can still use parts of those shots, and I'm gonna show you that in a second. I couldn't see how this turned out until I got home and pulled the photos off the card and stacked them in Photoshop. To do that, you'll want to load all of these files into Photoshop as layers, and then settle those layers to the light and blend mode. So now you're gonna see the scene you shot, and it starts to look like an interesting picture. Plus, you'll see where you walked in front of the camera with the LED light. Turn off some layers that are obviously unusable, but some of these, where the light is off to the side, we can take the reflection that's on the car and use that, and then hide the light itself with a layer mask. I don't like where these lights are, where they're overlapping on the sides, but I do like how it's casting light on the side of the car. So I'll just use this part of the layer. I don't have to be too careful about masking it because of the light and blend mode. Go through these layers and eventually you will have a presentable image. I would like to try this with a lighter colored car, but I am happy with this result. The legs on the light stand showed up a bit, so next time I might try to cover those with gaff tape to cut down on the shine and hopefully those won't show up as much. For now, I can clean them up with the healing brush in Photoshop. It's not too bad. And there we have it. This is, I won't say it's advanced, but it is a lot of effort for just 1 or 2 shots. But it's a result that I never would have stumbled upon without making the previous light painting video. Even if you don't try this yourself, it just shows how important it is to try new things and explore. If you do try this, you might stumble upon a different technique or build onto this and do it way better than I have. This was supposed to be short. Anyway, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram if you don't already. Share this. I'm always blown away by the comments I get from people all over the world saying that this is helpful. So that's one of the many reasons I keep doing this. So thanks so much for the feedback and comments, and thank you for watching. I will see you next time.